Hey, today we're making roast pork shoulder, pernil. Hey friends, how are you? My name is Marie, I live in New York, and welcome to my YouTube channel, MBC Lifestyles Diary. I love cooking and entertaining, cultural events, and travel. Please join me on the adventure. Alright, so I went to the supermarket and I bought a pork shoulder, picnic pork shoulder. This is good for a party, for a picnic, or for a large family. And I also bought this Mojo Criolla, which has the sour orange in it and all sorts of wonderful spices, such as cumin, pepper. You can read the back, but it does give a wonderful flavor to the meat that you know I love marinated. So I got the pork, rinsed it, salt and peppered, and then I poured this all over and I put it in my refrigerator to sit or marinate. So today, day 3, I've pulled it out. I'm bringing it at room temperature. I'm going to drain this liquid and I'm going to add a few more touches and put it in the oven to roast for like 3 hours. That really depends on the size of your pork shoulder. Smaller pork shoulder, less amount of time. This is your average size. And if you noticed, I placed it with the skin side down so it could absorb or get as much of the seasoning as possible. To puncture some holes in here, shove some garlic with the red pepper flake, more garlic. So now when dealing with this pork shoulder, it's good to have sharp knives because the skin is tough, but this is kind of like the first thing to go because everybody likes that crunchy skin flavor. I'm going to take this out. See the size of this? About 3 to 4 pounds for a shoulder. You see the skin is pretty tough. This knife is very sharp. It's a meat knife. I'm going to kind of put some slits in so the seasoning goes in to the top part of the meat. Everybody has their own way of doing this. Here's my seasoning. Sazon. And as usual, my oven has been preheated. If you don't have one of these roaster pans, then you get a pan and you cover it with aluminum foil completely. And we use this because you have to build up heat to start cooking it from the inside, and you have to watch it so that you don't burn the skin, because the skin is delicious when it's crispy and well cooked. Down to 375, and I'm going to watch it. It's 3 hours. So I'm making yellow rice and seafood. You've seen me do this before, but you can see me do it again. And this time I'm using seafood medley, which everything comes frozen. So as usual, putting some lemon on the seafood. Rinse it. And as I said before, I enjoy using jasmine rice. It's important to read the instructions in the back. So for 2 cups of rice, use 3 cups of water. This is frozen, so it'll give off some of its water. So I might put a tiny bit more rice in there. My pan is heating. Put some oil. This is 3 cups of water. And as you know, when I make chicken, I like to save the chicken broth and add it to my rice. So this is diluted because I had to add water to it, but the flavor is still there, the flavor is still strong. Once again, sazon. And this already has like garlic, some time. So the jasmine rice says 3 cups of water for 2 cups of rice. Let me measure out my rice. Let me taste this to see if the water has taken out the salt. I doubt it, but let's see. Oh, perfect. Yummy. It all starts with your chicken being perfectly seasoned, and when you're sweating it or cooking it, you add salt to the water so that stays. But always good to taste your food to see if it's seasoned to your liking. Trying to let the water heat up a bit. This is another way that some people say that you have the right rice to water proportion. But as I said, making rice is a skill. Practice, practice, practice. And for this, I'm going to add a little more seafood seasoning on top. Just a dash. Salt. I know this is going to give off more fluid. So I'm just going to add a little bit more rice. Pepper, pickled red peppers, some heat. And now bring it down to a very low heat so that the rice can soak in all that liquid and expand and cook. Now you're done in the kitchen. You just come in, you check, and you just wait. Make sure your food's not burning, make sure the heat's not too high and it's set properly, and spend your time doing whatever else you need. Usually I make more side dishes, but today I decided just to keep it simple because it's hot in here and it's summer, and this is going to be the last time I do anything in that hot oven. So I'm checking on my roast and it's looking pretty good. It's now cooking at 350. When I want this to harden and get crunchy, that's when I'm going to take the cover off and let it sit in the oven for a little longer. But right now, I just to roast, and the rice is at a very low heat. Don't need to check on it because I don't want the rice to be like a paste or soggy. I want it to be well cooked and the liquid to be fully absorbed. So, also as another side, I know I said I was done with the kitchen, but I have some ripe plantains, so I'm going to make fried plantains to go with this whole Caribbean meal. Let's give it again and let it heat up, and I'm going to put some canola or vegetable oil in there because it needs to be hot to cook up the plantains. Plantains are yellow, but that's because they ripened off the vine, because I bought them slightly green. Sometimes you're taking a chance doing that because sometimes they never ripen, or sometimes they're just not as tasty. But this looks like we've been fortunate. I like to cut mine at an angle. I should probably use one more plantain. Because as I said, people love the taste of salty and sweet together. Or at least people in my family do. So all this time I've been letting the oil heat up. So if you've noticed, I've kind of put the skin to the side because this is a technique that's usually used for the green plantains, the tostones, you cut them up, you soak them in some salt water, and then you fry them, then you squeeze them, and then you cook them again. I like to do that. I like to do the squeezing and frying again with the sweet ones. Some people just cook it up like this and serve it. I don't. So let's see. Now it's not as hot as I would like it to be, but oh well. So if you go to a restaurant and you ask for sweet plantains, this is how they will probably serve it to you. But I don't like it that way. I mean, I understand why the restaurants do it that way. And some of you might like it that way because you're like, it's only going to be fried once. I'm going to squash them and put it back in the oil so that crunchy sweetness is evenly spread out. And that's why I save the skins. Yeah, people. Banan pesé literally means squash bananas. Or squash plantains. Yeah, so I like putting them on the wood cutting board because, you know, it'll absorb some of the oil. Some people, I guess, dab it with paper towels. But I just use my cutting board, so it's great for draining the grease, and it's great for my cutting board because it gets some oil on it, so that the wood does not get brittle and crack. And the oil in the pan will get saved. Yes, because it will be used again to fry more plantains. I think you get 2 or 3 more uses out of it. Now, I will check my rice. Oh, looks lovely. You see it? Very nice. My mom always likes to add a bit more oil on top to finish it off. At this point, I would turn off the rice because I don't want the bottom to burn. Right now, it's probably got a nice crunchiness to it that all the season dropped to the bottom. And as I said before, we call that gratin. So the rice is crispy, full of seasoning, and my husband calls it the gal loves that part, and Americans call it garbage because they don't like it. Here it is, nicely roasted. My plantains are done. My rice is done. And now let me plate it for you. Hey friends, 3.5 hours later, roast pork is ready, seafood rice and sweet plantains, and I'm pairing it with a nice red French wine. So, bon appetit. And if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and share.